in college football right now, and I'm looking at the national championship odds from FanDuel, most recent. Georgia and Alabama are plus 175, co-favorites. And that's a move. Georgia has surged a bit. Alabama has stayed roughly that number for a while since they beat Miami in week 1. Oregon is the next team up at 16-1 alongside of Ohio State. Then we get Oklahoma at 20-1. And then, Furman, Michigan is 40-1, Iowa 40-1, Penn State, Cincinnati. I mean, the jump from Alabama and Georgia is prohibitive in terms of what the odds become for Oregon and Ohio State and Oklahoma, among others. Do you believe that Georgia and Alabama deserve to be that prohibitive of favorites as we prepare for the start of October? I mean, it's still really early in the year.
I think they're worthy favorites. Now, would I bet either of those two teams at a price that short? Absolutely not. I think there's so much that can go wrong between now and the SEC championship in early December, but it does illustrate a college football landscape right now that's pretty wide open, other than maybe those top two teams. I think Oklahoma at 20-1, if you believe they can rectify everything that's gone wrong for this team offensively, that could make some sense from a value perspective, because the one thing for the Sooners so far this season, they've been very good on the defensive side of the ball. It's just they've had no offense to speak of. And if you trust Lincoln Riley to get things figured out, suddenly this team that was 4.5 or 5-1 before the season start, that still very much controls their own destiny in a down Big 12, has all the pieces that you'd like to see for a legitimate dark horse, at least to win the national championship, as the odds suggest. Iowa and Michigan at 40-1. I mean, you may as well honestly light money on fire. I don't have a ton of confidence in either of those teams getting to the national title. I know people will come after me because, well, Michigan's undefeated. Let's see how they perform this weekend against the Wisconsin team that really doesn't have much of an offense. Michigan hasn't left the big house yet this season. And when I look at Iowa, defensively, they're truly elite, but offensively, they're outside the top 40. I don't think that's good enough to beat the big boys. I think if I was trying to find a little bit of a sleeper here, and I don't have the prices in front of me, Clay, there's a one-loss SEC team that I really believe can do some serious damage. And if we think Alabama is that good, why are we discounting Florida, who has a schedule that if they were to go through and run the table, and of course they have their hands full this weekend against Kentucky, and we know they're going to have to pull off a mild upset in Jacksonville against Georgia. But everything I've seen from Florida this season gives me reason to believe this team is probably one of the more dynamic sides you've seen offensively. And in what should have been a letdown over the weekend against Tennessee, it was their defensive adjustments in the second half that really opened my eyes. So if I was looking to take a deep flyer with a one-loss team, Florida would be the team that checks a lot of those boxes for me.
Florida is 100-1, by the way, right now. Arkansas, 200-1. So that's kind of wild. The one that stands out to me that is kind of crazy, Notre Dame, whose schedule now doesn't look that difficult going forward to me, Furman, 60-1. So that is worth paying some attention to as we go forward and think about what might happen in the weeks ahead.